Ready to race. Yes, I am. Okay. That's what I love about these KTMs. This is a KTM RC 125, and one of the things I love about this is it's actually built for the racetrack, which is an unusual thing for a 125 because they're not huge bikes. But yeah, it's built for the racetrack to strip down all the illegal bits, took them off, and put it out as a road bike as well. I didn't even know 125 racing was a thing until quite recently, but apparently it is. But it's an absolute riot to ride. One of the things I was unsure of when I was first looking into bikes after my CBT was, do I go for a 125 or do I go for a DAS, because I was old enough, I'm 26, and do I get a much bigger machine? And I think I actually made the right choice, because this 125 has been an absolute riot. It's just a lot of fun, and I felt like it's got me quite ready for the big boys, because I've done a lot on a Suzuki, an SD 650 I think it is, and those are a lot of fun, a lot of power. My dream big bike, which I'm getting in January, is the new 2020 Ninja 650. Absolutely gorgeous in pearl white. It's going to be phenomenal, but I'm not in a rush to get rid of this. This little 125 is certainly more than enough to have a lot of fun on. And it is like they say as well, an indicator would be helpful there, boy. It is like they say as well, it is a lot more fun to ride a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow. And to be honest, 125s aren't even that slow. I mean, they're slow compared to 650s and super bikes, all that kind of shit, but to be honest, when you're on the road with a bunch of cars, you don't notice. It's not a slow vehicle. It gets up to the speed limit nice and briskly, obviously not as briskly as the other bikes, but still more than enough so you don't fall behind on the roads, which is a lot of fun. When I was picking the 125, it was either this or the new Kawasaki Ninja 125, and I settled on this because it was there, I'm not going to lie. It was about $5.5 grand, I think, which I was happy to pay, because it's a really nice bike. But I've read a lot on forums that these things are really, they break quite easily, which I have not. I've actually found the opposite. This has been an incredibly resilient machine. An incredibly resilient machine. I've ragged this thing around. I've rode it through the Pennines in a storm. I've ridden it through all different places, and it has never, ever, ever let me down, ever in the past. Which is very nice. It's a very reliable machine. I would not hesitate to get another KTM. Like I say, I've dreamed about the Ninja 650 since I was growing up, which is why I'm getting it. But if I got another KTM as a big bike, I wouldn't be disappointed, because they're just really huge amounts of fun. And you can really tell it was designed for racing as well, because even with a 125 engine, it is incredibly, incredibly light. Like if I stand up on the bike, is there any officers of the law? If I stand up on the bike like this, I can control it just with my ankles, which is really a lot of fun, which I really like to do. Also, as far as I know, standing up on your bike isn't illegal, but officers who don't really know that can still pull you over and give you grief. So I always try to avoid it with the police. But I've always found Northumbria police to be very, very, very reasonable, which is nice. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. My friend's got a Honda, like a street bike, a naked street bike, and those look nice too. And I've always been a huge fan of the super sports. And I'm also lucky to live where I do. I live in Northumberland in England, which is an area of outstanding natural beauty. It's been recognised by some government dickhead. But there's a lot of really, really nice bike routes. There's just everywhere is beautiful. Like even the houses. Like if you look at the houses, everything's just very, very beautiful. Obviously, council estates exist, but that's that. So it is a lot of fun having a 125 like this that you can just take out. I do get asked a lot by people because I'm preparing for my mod 2 at the moment, and I do get a lot of people at the lessons asking me, you know, have you enjoyed the 125? Would you go for big bike straight away? I would actually advocate going for the 125 first, just because they're really forgiving and they're a lot of fun. And this bike forgives mistakes so well. I can do pretty much anything on this bike and not fall off it. So it's just a good way, because if you go on straight on a 650, yeah, like the things like the Ninja, they're very beginner friendly and everything, but at the same time, oh, what's this? What's going on here? Yeah, what's going on? At the same time, if you do something like press the front brake while you're in a corner, it'll just throw you straight off, whereas actually on this you can get away with a little bit of front brakeage when you do corners. I'll clear behind, I'll show you, like, even though I wasn't too much of a corner, but yeah, it's very forgiving, and I've made a lot of mistakes on this that would have crashed me on a bigger bike. Fun fact, I actually crashed this bike 14 minutes after getting it into a bush. I whiskey throttled it right out my street. It was all going great. I left my street straight into a bush. Cars stopped to help me. I was very embarrassed. Absolute nightmare. I didn't want to get back on it because I was frightened. But I made myself, because I knew if I just took it home, if I wheeled it home and never got back on, you know, I would never go back on it. It would just hit my garage. So I got back on, went for a ride, and now I'm never off the thing. I love it. But so yeah, you can still crash these, but only if you're a fucking retard like me. Well, to be honest, this bike will do. Oh, I fucked that. This bike will do 70 quite happily. It takes a little while to get there, not as long as a car. Like I say, you'll still out accelerate cars unless they're really putting effort into it. But it'll get up to 70, it'll hold 70, 75 quite happily on a dual carriageway. The only areas it falls short really is overtaking, because if you are going to overtake a big truck, you need to make bloody sure that there's not a camber or a fucking anything like that, or a hill or something like that around the corner, up on the stirrups, because that'll cause you a lot of grief. You will overtake and then everyone's bundling up behind you. And also wind as well, like especially on this seafront, it's okay today, but when it's windy, you'll feel your bike moving around the lane like this in the whims of the rare wind, and it is a kind of a nightmare. I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'3", I weigh 18 stone. You know, currently I'm losing it because I want to get back into sports, but yeah, so even with me on it, it will move around, so be wary of that. Actually, strangely, considering I just made the point that they're easier to ride, they're also a lot less forgiving than 650s, but in a good way, in that they're a lot easier to stall. You have to change gears a lot more often. The bigger bikes make for lazier riders because they'll do a lot of the work for you with their weight. I'm not going to go too fast here because there's a bastard of a corner right ahead, but yeah, because they're very big, heavy bikes, they're very easy to go slow on, very easy to nip in and out of, you know, trouble. Whereas the 125, you have to plan quite meticulously. They don't have the brakes that the big bikes do. They don't have the push. You know what I mean? So but that develops good riding skills, really. You know, a lot of fun. Like, say it takes a little while to get up there. I mean, I'm not like pumping it, but you'll quite happily, it gets you where you want to go, and this feels like it's really working out, you know what I mean? Whereas on a 650, I could have gone from standstill to 60 in about, like, I don't know, 2 seconds, if I was okay with the gears. I always like to be a bit conservative in the dark because there's a lot of deer, a lot of rabbits, things like that around here. And the lovely thickets. You've got all the vegetables in that field, and you've got a nice protective thicket here. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm not in a hurry to get rid of it. I commute to it to work. I commute to it to school. It's a lot of fun. I've been very happy with it. I'll be starting to get rid of it. I'm actually considering keeping it and the 650 and then using this maybe for my light commuter stuff and the 650 more for getting out in the countryside, you know, on the hot days. This road will be a lot more fun on a 650. I will concede that point because I've done. The only thing is when I'm on a 650, I have an instructor behind me, so I can't do anything too imaginative. But yeah. I love my sound effects. Huge fan of sound effects. Oh, bit of lead, cheeky lead. Oh, don't know what that accent was. We'll just engine brake to the end. The thing is, right, on these ones, I don't know if it's just this KTM, but the front brake is very weak. But the minute I touch the back brake, look at the speed on that. Look at that. It just drops off like crazy. I did check there was someone not behind me when I did that as well, but it's been on a national. There's someone coming around this corner. There we are. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. The last 6 months getting on the bike. Because all my family being in the bikes are all big on their Triumphs and stuff like that. But yeah, I've always been into super sports. After I do my Mod 2, I'm going to do my bike safe with Durham Police, which is going to be cool, and then I'm going to do advanced training with the aim to getting on the track by next summer. Because I love biking. I'm lucky in that I'm in the position where I can spend money on myself for the lessons. You know, I'm in that position in my life, so I may as well do it because I enjoy it a lot. The ocean, the North Sea, beautiful. Better in the daytime, not gonna lie to you, but shit like that. You see, whatever the fuck that is, that a cat? Whatever the fuck that is over there that just ran across. That's why I'm conservative on that big road. Because even on a 125, and that's because I meet a lot of people who will ride a 125 in shorts, and they're like, oh, it's just a 125. 60 mile an hour hitting the road is 60 mile an hour hitting the road. It doesn't matter if you're on a 125, if you're on a 650, 1400, if you're falling off the back of a Jeep. You know, 60 mile an hour hitting the road is 60 miles an hour hitting the road. So I always like to be careful. Also, £2,000 fucking excess on my insurance because I'm a new rider and I didn't have a full license. Because I can drive a car, not a problem. I drove a car in Canada, but I drove that on a very, very large parcel of private land. So I don't have a UK license. Yeah, I need to get around to doing the test, but it's so boring. Oh god, jeez, nothing worse than driving a fucking car. That's you, dickhead. You little car bastard. There's ice coming out of the play. That's another. This will be my first winter on motorbike. I was very lucky in that I did my CBT in May, and I got this bike at the very start of June. So I faced the spring, the summer. Well, not really the spring, the end of spring. We had a beautiful summer, a very, very nice autumn. But now we're getting into winter, and the thing about here, we don't get a lot of snow, but we do get a lot of ice and sleet, which is a bastard. I'm gonna slow down with this guy, let him out. Which is pretty cool. You can go, that's okay. Yeah, he's flashing his light. You're welcome, you're so welcome. Oh, you stop. I like it when the sanctuary, it makes me feel warm in my heart. But yeah, we do get a lot of ice now, so I'm a bit worried about that. I'll have to make my own. It's every individual biker's personal decision when they put the bike away. For me, because this is my major mode of transport, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of almost romantically in love with it. It's not going away for winter, I'm keeping it out, but I will, if it's sleeting, I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for that. And there will be sometimes I have to take the train. but it's life. Sometimes safety first. I'm also going to slow down because I don't want his back end. Oh, he was alright. Sometimes with them they can like go left and then turn right if it's a sharp corner, which I'm always worried about. But yeah, it's very, very, very nice down here. One thing I have noticed though, when I change from the 650 to the 125, I stall a lot because there's no play in these at all. If I can find somewhere, I'll show you in a bit. But there's yeah, you can ride the clutch on a big bike. You can't ride the clutch on these. I don't know whether it's just because I'm a big fucking guy or whether it's just all 125s, but not a lot of clutch play. And maybe as well, I stall in traffic when I first get back on the 125 after the 650 because I think I'm going to go forward a lot faster than I can, and that gets me into trouble at roundabouts. So what will happen is I'll go to set off. I think, oh, I can beat that car. Remember, I'm on a 125 and I'm going fucking slow compared to what I'm expecting, and then nearly end up crashing. That happened to me twice, but I'm a lot better now because I don't want to be fucking murdered on a roundabout. But yeah. First time merging onto a dual carriageway was very interesting on the 650 because I thought I was on the 125, so the way around there, and I opened the throttle all the way when I went to merge on there, and ended up going from about 40 to 91 miles an hour in an extremely short space of time. And as you know, that's not a very good idea when you're trying to merge into traffic. Luckily the brakes are dual pedal on the front of those, so I was slowed down quite fast, so we're good. We are good. Oh man. One thing that did surprise me getting into biking actually was how easy it is to get on a motorbike. I thought it'd be way harder to get on one of these machines because all you have to do is you do CBT, which for anyone who's not from the UK, you turn up at a classroom. Well, you send away for your provisional license, where you just basically fill in your name and a provisional L plate license comes in the post. And then you go to the CBT, you spend like a couple of hours in a classroom, like an hour driving around in a little yard getting used to how a bike moves, and then they just put you on the road. There's no tests, there's no, do you know the highway code? I had never looked at the highway code before my CBT because I thought they'd cover everything in the classroom, which not really. I mean, they give us a brief grounding, but you can't teach them the highway code in a couple of hours. So I'd never seen it before. And then in the actual, when they put me on the road, I was driving and just following the guy in front. I had no idea how anything worked, which was really dumb of me. It's not the instructor's fault, but it is a riot. I would recommend it. I would recommend it. I kept stalling the bike in the CVT though, so they put me on an automatic scooter. So then when I got this bike, I had to YouTube how clutches work. And I get used to practicing that, which was interesting. But it's so easy. You can go from, you send away for your license, comes in like a week, and then you go to this course and you can just ride a bike like this exact bike. And the theory is, because it's only a 125, it's very beginner friendly. You don't really need the kind of strict courses that other vehicles do, but it's more than enough to get you into trouble. More than enough. It'll get you into trouble if you let it. But I guess that's life. It's up to the individual to decide when they're ready to go on the roads. I learned off YouTube. Mostly American YouTubers actually, so really I'm shocked I'm alive. But I'm good now. Like I say, I passed my theory, passed my mod 1, second time. First time was an absolute bastard because I did everything spot the fuck on, perfect, until it came to the final move. And at the end of the final maneuver, the swerve, I kicked the cone, and I didn't just kick, I put this thing in a fucking orbit. I think it actually beat me into the other end of the arena. But yeah, all a big auto fail. Second attempt, did it all apart from the U-turn that I got a minor for. And to be honest, I thought I'd failed. I think that's why I did the rest of it so good. I thought I'd failed on the U-turn, but no, just a minor. Which is ironic because I did it perfect the time before. Right, I'm going the speed limit here, and this guy's turned off. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so I was annoyed about that. Mod 2. Here's the thing with the Mod 2. I'm quite an okay rider. I mean, I know I'm going 5 over at the minute, but in general, I'm pretty safe. I'm pretty smart. I like to mess around sometimes, but only when it's appropriate. But the Mod 2, littlest mistake can fuck you, and it's roundabouts for me, the big multi-lane ones, but I just gotta get more practice in. But as soon as that's done, my new Ninja's ready. It's ready to be sent to me whenever. I've got a shortage of them, but I paid altogether between that and all the modifications, it's put me back around £11,000-12,000, which isn't excessive, I feel, for what you get. Because I spent, what was it, 5.5, 6 on this, and it was second hand. It had 3,000 miles on, in immaculate condition. Obviously the guy had ridden it for a little while and got his mod too. But I have not had a problem with this bike. I'm going to slow down a bit here because these are bars. Although it is a Sunday night, so I think it should be okay. But it only takes one dickhead. Only takes one dickhead. Usually they're in a taxi. It's the fucking taxi drivers are the problem. Like that guy not looking before he walked across there. Who knows behind me? I love this bike. So, fox! What does the fox say? That, I don't know what that noise was. I apologise. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's why when I go down like lanes and stuff at night, those pays. Oh shit! I didn't put my chickens and ducks away before I came out. Mr. Fox, you stay here. You stay here. Oh, I really want to go pet him. I wonder if he's vicious. Would fox teeth go through a glove? Maybe. I don't know. He's probably gone by now. If I see another one, I'll try pet it. Oh man. Right, okay, 2 minutes. I'm actually going to pull over here and show you guys what I mean by the clutch being the way it is. Okay, so bear in mind I'm downhill at the moment as well. So if I let this out like that, that's it fine, and then there it stalls, you see? So there's no real playing it at all. Oh, this isn't a police car. No. Like I said, everyone's really, as long as you're not doing something really stupid, they'll let you go. They don't have quotas, they don't have anything like that. And to be honest, the thing is with the police, they're either going to tell you off or give you a ticket. They very rarely do both. So if you get stopped and the cop is telling you off, that's a good sign. That is a good sign. So don't argue with them. Don't argue, even if you're right. Especially if you're right, don't argue. Oh man. What a beautiful machine. Tell you what I really do like the look of though. I always mess up the letters. I think it's the Honda CBF or CBR. It's the sports bike looking white Hondas. I really like the look of them, but there's quite a lot of them around. Whereas I've never seen another. I've seen a KTM Adventure and I've seen a few KTM Dukes, but I've never seen another RC125. And I've been like down in Lancaster for biker meets and stuff like that, and I'm always the only bright orange KTM. Speaking of which, I did consider the 2019 Ninja 650 in bright orange, but I've settled for the white. What are you doing? What the fuck? Are you waiting? Oh, you're waiting for the bar. Okay.